What's up, guys? It's Carlos again with Carlos Acuna Health and Fitness. Today I'm with my bro Chacho, Abel. So Abel built a home gym and I'm gonna have him, since it's his home gym, not mine. I wish I had mine. But anyhow, I'm gonna let him take over today and take you guys through the guidance of how to build your own home gym.
Hello everybody, my name is Abel Laura, Celosis Bro Chacho, and today I'll show you how I built my home gym, a little bit about it, and all how it was done on a budget. So what we have here, the main posts, there's some 4x4 cedar wood, and once I got them, they're about 8 feet tall. I had to cut a couple pieces off, and then if you look right on here, I probably drilled about an 1.25 inch holes in order to fit some of the piping that I was going to be using. And it's a short, I would say about 6-inch pipe. I use a little cap on the end to make sure that it doesn't come off. And then one of the flanges in order to hold the bar at a later time, wrapped around by duct tape and some foam. And with these, you could insert, if you're anywhere on the 4x4 cedar wood, if you're doing back squats, if you're doing bench, if you want to do some push press later, you just rearrange it in whichever hole it is. In order to make it sturdy and also wanting a pull-up bar, I added some of the thicker rust-resistant piping with more flanges on here, and then a smaller piping with even more flanges directly to the wall in order for it to be able to hold still. In the wall, I made sure that I screwed it into a lot of the studs, and this is probably about 3/4 inch plywood, which after using 3-inch screws straight into the studs again. And once you make sure that you have everything screwed into the studs, the boards, the flanges, and the piping, this thing is not coming off at all. So once you have this all set up, you can try different sort of workouts on here as long as your height permits. My ceiling's pretty short. I'm a short guy, but even I can't do any muscle ups on there. You can do normal pull-ups, or you could even do toe bars. So the important thing about making sure that you build this in order for it to maintain a lot of weight, not only your weight, but the weight that you'll be working on, you want to make sure that when you have all the studs bolted on here, you also have enough screws on this other flange in order for it to be nice and sturdy, and this thing is not falling off at all. You could probably stack about 800 pounds on here without any issues at all. I haven't tried anything else, but I've gone about 700 pounds just to pure weight, not lifting it because I'm not strong enough, but just to see how much it would hold. Left it there overnight, no issues at all. The other thing that I made sure to do, I bolted some of the bottom ones with a 2x4, a little bit cheaper leftover wood that I sometimes have, and something that's very inexpensive. And then I just bought a couple metal pieces at Home Depot, screwed it on there, and made sure that this thing is attached at the wall as well on the bottom, so that way it's not moving at all. Now, earlier in the video you might have seen at the very bottom, it's actually covered in duct tape. What we have here are 3/4 inch mats, and we'll cover those in probably a few minutes. But if you move over to where the 4x4 cedar wood is at, I duct taped it all around the bottom in order so that it wouldn't cause any significant damage to the mats, which the mats, they're made for horse stalls, so these can take a lot of damage. Probably wouldn't take a lot of this, but also just for an aesthetic look so that the wood doesn't get rubbed off too much. And this is actually making direct impact with the mat and the concrete right below it. What we have here is a homemade bench, and these were, I just had to buy a few extra materials. I had to go into Home Depot in order to pick up a few extra scraps of 4x4 wood, and then some metal plating that you can easily bend. It's used a lot in construction in order to frame houses. So this is probably going to be some of the strongest stuff because if it can hold houses, it can hold the 4x4s. And then I went to Hobby Lobby, picked up about a yard of vinyl, the leather vinyl lining, some foam that'll go on the bottom. So in the foam, I probably bought a packet of about a yard also. I didn't use all of it, but it was a foam that you could use for chairs or cushions. And then I had actually some 3/4 inch plywood left from the wall that was previously done. And on that, I used about 4 feet by 1 foot. When I placed those on there, I cut out a lot of the 4x4 pieces of wood and created 1 foot in length and about 8 inches on this side. Started putting them together with the screws. Used a longer one, about 3.5 feet, not the whole 4 feet. Screwed them in from the bottom on the 3/4 inch wood. This I had to do it right after I finished all of that. Put the foam, then the leather vinyl, and then stapled it with upholstery staples. And right after I completed that, I made sure that it was pretty sturdy. And with this, you can do anything and it won't break. You can toss it around, load it up some more, and this thing is never coming undone. A lot of these ideas, I actually put them together bit in pieces, some of them from Pinterest, not exactly the same as they're on there, but also from another YouTube channel called The Buff Guys, which they actually made a bench that's very similar, and they made a rack, which they called a power rack, which was different than this and not attached to any of the walls. So I took bits and pieces from all these different ideas and was able to make my own. Alright guys, so overall we can do a rundown again just of the materials that I ended up using. I ended up buying 2 4x4 posts. The ones I used were cedar, just because cutting through them was going to be a bit easier. But you can buy any kind that you want. Some of them might be a little cheaper, and they're the ones that you use for posts whenever you do fencing. Galvanized piping, I used a 3-foot one in order to do my pull-ups, and I use galvanized piping because of if you start sweating, it won't rust at any point. For the other piping, I ended up using about a 3/4 inch 4-foot one. I used 2 of them, and that I did not get galvanized because I'm not worried about that one rusting since I don't use that one to do any pull-ups. I got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different flanges in order to post them to the posts and to the walls. 2 of them are actually galvanized, the ones that are by the pull bars. The other ones are normal that aren't galvanized. I got 2 other flanges down here in order to hold the bar whenever it is using a small 6-inch galvanized piping, and then the caps that go on the back in order for this to not come out at all. That way you don't have to worry about the weights falling on you. 2x4s, I ended up using about half of one. Normally they're about 8 feet at Home Depot. I used about 4 feet worth of them. Not too expensive. It's probably one of the cheapest things out there. A 2x4 is usually right under $3. I used a lot of 3/4 inch birch wood, I believe it was, just so it can be a little sturdier. I bought one whole sheet, which usually runs about 4 feet by 8 feet, and I had Home Depot cut that one. That way it makes it a lot easier for you to load it up either in your car, truck, or whatever vehicle of choice you're driving. And other than that, guys, I bought a lot of wood screws. Bought about 3-inch ones, 2-inch ones, and a couple 1-inch ones. And with the materials of the vinyl leather, and then the extra small items that were used in order to make the bench, all this, just the materials alone, probably ran around $130. Not that expensive. I had a few items laying around at the house, usually from what I work on here at home. And this does not include any of the equipment or tools used. I already own just about all of that. I didn't really have to buy anything. A couple of neighbors lent me their tools. And all of it, guys, probably in less than a day you could complete it. And you have yourself somewhere to work out at home in case you can't get to the gym on time after work, or in the morning if you want to get a quick little workout, perfect spot to be, right at home. Alright guys, let's move on to equipment. What I have here is a simple set, not too many weights. I need to start building up on some of it, but if you're on a budget and you want to start off small, let's talk a little bit about the cost. Bumper plates, I have a pair of 45-pound bumper plates, and bumper plates are basically, you can drop them, and that's why I have these mats on here. They're rubber coated, 45 pounds, a pair costs about $75. I have a pair of 25-pound bumper plates, cost about $45 each, and that's each, $75 each, $46 each. And then a pair of 10-pound plates, which are about, I would say, 20 something odd dollars each. We have a couple dumbbells over there. I don't have many more on a budget, guys, once again. And those are about $1 per pound, so about $30 each on each one of them. And then I have 4 horse stall mats, which I bought these at Tractor Supply. They run about $40 a piece. They're 4 feet by 6 feet in length, and they're 3/4 inch thickness. And once again, these are bumper plates. And if you're ever working out and the weight gets too heavy, you can actually drop these without causing any damage to your concrete floor or any other type of floor. And also the dumbbells, I wouldn't suggest dropping these from a high weight, but in case they ever do drop, it won't cause any damage to any of your flooring. Now, funny story about the bar. What I have here, I believe it's called the Rogue 2.0. I can't remember if that's the exact name on it, but this is a very dependable bar. Depending on what time of year you buy it, if there's any specials going on, it can range somewhere between $100 to $200. Now, this once again is a very dependable bar. It has a lifetime warranty on it. It pretty much can bend, but if it at any point it does happen to bend, the lifetime warranty covers it. Rogue has excellent customer service. They'll get back to you. And the story on this is, I actually started off with a very, very, very low budget bar at your local sporting goods, which about 6 months into using it, it just started coming undone at the ends. I couldn't tighten it anymore until one day I just gave up and said, why didn't I invest in a good bar to begin with? And if you're looking at any of the weights, at the bars, at what you want to invest in first, invest in a good quality bar. I can't say that enough. The bar is the one that's gonna be helping you out the most. The weights, you can start off small, start building up, but the bar is the important part. Get a good quality bar, guys.
Okay guys, there you go. Building your own home gym on a budget, brought to you by my good bro Chacho, Abel.
Thank you guys. I hope that you find this video interesting. There's a couple other videos out there where you can get a lot of good ideas. Definitely, if you're on a budget, this will definitely help you.
And with that guys, we say peace and love out.